This week, we'll learn about how heat index is impacting sports in Mississippi and also take a look at our school's first indoor pep rally since COVID-19. Welcome back to another episode of WTHS News. I'm Mariah Cole. Mississippi High School's Activities Association had a committee meeting 4 weeks ago regarding heat index. After the meeting, it was announced that varsity football now has a new start time of 7:30. However, football was not the only sport affected. Megan takes the lead with more.
The rising heat index has affected sports and athletes in ways that you may not have thought about.
Well, when the heat index rises and gets to a certain point, athletes stop sweating or they get all of the nutrients and liquid out of their body, and therefore it drains them and can cause heat exhaustion.
As the heat rises, the risk of athlete safety also increases. Caitlin Fair shares the impact the weather has on her performance.
When running in the heat, it can be really difficult, especially when the sun is directly on you, and it makes you feel like you're drained, and it makes you feel like you have to stop or slow down. So we just keep pushing and keep going until we see the finish line.
Coaches and athletic administrators are making changes to keep athletes safe in the heat.
If it's 106 to 110, we'll take the shoulder pads off and we'll be just helmets, take those off when we can, give more water breaks, make sure the kids are resting as needed, kind of monitor those kids more.
MHSAA has preventative measures in place to limit the chance of heat exhaustion. Mr. Neves shares the precautions that have been put in place.
Cut down on the amount of drills and the length of drills. We do such things as have mandatory water breaks, and then we do actually have mandated cooling tubs at all outdoor events.
The association uses doctors that have insight on how our bodies are affected by heat to help them make safety regulations for sports.
We've limited those practices to 3 hours. If they are going to have a walkthrough after a practice, they have to wait 3 hours and then walk through at a cooler time of day.
The football team has stayed in high spirits during the draining heat. Coach Shoup shares how the team has handled it.
The kids' attitudes have been really, really good. We're a very senior-laden team, so they understand what we ask them to do and how we need them to do it so we can go out and get our work done and get out of the heat as fast as possible.
Cross-country runners are in battle with heat every day. The coaches have created new routines to keep the runners safe from heat exhaustion.
Our coaches has made it to where when we run our loops, we get water breaks in between every loop that we do, and they make us go into the gym just to get the cool air and just for us to cool down until we do our loops again.
Soccer is another sport right now that is being tormented by the rising heat.
We've been having to run miles for soccer and do a lot of physical activity and things like that, and I think that has really hindered our physical performance on the soccer field, like not being able to do certain things that we would have if it weren't as hot outside.
Come October, the football games will start back at 7 o'clock. I am Megan Pigg with WTHS News.
Thanks, Megan. It's nice to know the coaches and trainers are continuing to look out for the athletes here. This past Friday, THS held its first pep rally in the Dome since COVID struck in 2019. Due to COVID and its restrictions, there were limits on indoor crowds. The student body finally got to come together, and for freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, they got to experience it for the first time. They started off chanting and cheering, played some games, and watched the first Tupelo boys skit. After they were introduced, each grade competed to win the spirit stick by showing the most spirit. The whole school was engaged, and everyone got excited for the first game of the year. We hear from a few students on what they think of the pep rally.
My favorite part about the pep rally was definitely winning the spirit stick for the senior class. It's always a good time when it happens.
I liked all the high energy from the cheerleaders and everybody. It was fun.
I would like to see everybody, instead of the groups just hyped up, I would like to see everybody hyped up. So everybody as a group just very hyped.
We just had the first one today, so it was great to be able to be back in the gym. We haven't been in there since freshman year. So it was really good to be back in the gym.
The next pep rally will be Thursday, October 13th. As we rally on, football is officially kicking off their season. Passing it to Shelbie for more.
A flashback of Friday consisted of our Golden Wave football team taking on Lafayette with a score of 34-0. Quarterback Jeremiah Harrell threw wide receiver Dalen Patton a pass that would win the very first touchdown of the night. The Enis score was set by a field goal completion of 35 yards done by Gideon Deaton. The score led the Waves to their first season win. Jake Milstead, a tight end on the football team, gives us a rundown of their win.
I feel awesome. I mean, we played great. We blew them out of the water, didn't let them score. Only punted one time. I think we played great as a team, and if we keep doing this, I think we'll have a great season.
The quarterback had a night full of pass completions, and his record against Lafayette was 24 out of 26. He totaled a number of 290 yards and 4 touchdowns on the blue turf.
Pretty confident. It's our season opener, but we can't just let that game get to us.
The football team aren't the only ones starting a winning streak. Tupelo cross-country team competed in the Brooks Invitational this weekend in Alabama. Running the season opener, Jaheim Bridges and Taylor Brown led the race in first and second place. The middle school girls and boys placed second, and the high school boys placed second in team results. Tupelo's resultant athletes are shown by professional golfer Hayden Buckley. Max gives us an inside look of this THS alumni.
Hayden Buckley is a former Tupelo alumni who just finished his rookie season playing the PGA Tour. He played with some notable guys this year like Justin Rose, Jason Day, John Rahm, and Ricky Fowler.
He said he practices a lot and stays focused, and that's why he did well this season. Coach Enis coached and taught Hayden in high school. He even caddied for him in 2018. Enis and Hayden are really close and have a great relationship. Enis may have coached Hayden, but he also looks up to Hayden too.
Well, Hayden's like a son, but he's also one of my good friends. And you know, as much as Hayden may look up to me, I look up to him just as much. He's a great person. He shows you what hard work looks like, and he's just a phenomenal guy.
Hayden and Enis worked really hard with each other at golf. They used to practice day in and day out at Tupelo Country Club.
Yeah, Hayden and I used to work together a lot down on the par 3 course. We used to hit out of bunkers, hit chip shots, and we couldn't leave the course that day until both of us made that bunker shot or that chip shot. It was pretty neat.
Hayden's favorite golf course he played on this season was the Country Club of Brookline, which he played on for the U.S. Open this year. And when playing in all these tournaments comes fans, and with fans comes noise. Hayden stays focused with all these fans by staying on his own level.
Yeah, it's really hard. You know, there's a lot of people out watching us every week. There's a lot of media that like to make stories, and it's really hard to stay focused. But I think when, what I really learned is just staying in my own level, my own lane, and staying off social media for me has been the best thing. Just focusing on what I can do.
Hayden and Coach Enis are still really good friends. They still talk every day, and they still have a really good relationship.
Coach Enis was the best coach I've had. He was a guy that when I was starting out, I was kind of torn between baseball and golf, and he helped me transition into golf being my favorite sport. And he was the guy that after practice would stay around and make sure I was practicing hard, and if I needed somebody to watch or just some help, he was there. So that didn't just end in high school. I actually still call him almost every day now.
Hayden has an amazing reputation of a hard worker. He finished 104th in the FedEx Cup rank. We all hope that he wins more tournaments and can hopefully win the Masters. This is Max Enis, WTHS News.
Thanks, Max. It's always great to catch up with a former Tupelo High student. The Lady Wave volleyball team competed against Oxford in the home gym earlier this week. JV won 2-0 sets and varsity failed in 0-3 sets. Leading into next week, the Lady Wave volleyball team will compete against New Hope Monday at 4, 5, and 6. Tonight is a home football game going up against the Tupelo Tigers. Tonight's game theme is tropical. Come out and support the Waves. We'll have more updates soon. I'm Shelbie Spain, WTHS Sports Media.
Thanks, Shelbie, for the update on our athletes. The highlight on the football field is not yet gone. Albany will be recognizing a few refs here at Tupelo High, although they cannot actually ref any games here. Passing it to you, Albany.
Football referees announce all penalties, stop and start plays, and make sure the players have great sportsmanship towards one another. Me personally, I've watched the touchdown. While everyone has a different story, Burt Keller, a driver's ed teacher for Tupelo High School, doesn't just teach but also is a football referee.
Got out of high school, one of my best friends said, "Hey, do you want to referee?" My dad is the district secretary for this district that we lived in. And he said, we need some referees. And I said, I'd love to.
Although there are many aspects to like about being a football referee, Raleigh Darcy, another football referee that works at Tupelo High School, opens up and shares his favorite part about being a referee.
I enjoy being a part of the game itself. I always loved watching football. I played football through my younger years, but being able to participate on Friday nights and being a part of community events is just so special.
The football players know what kind of impact the referees can have on a game, but they don't know how special the impact is on them.
I tell you what, I love it when the kids, you know, congratulate me on a great game, or even before. I like talking to them.
Mr. Darcy explains to us what a conflict of interest is.
If another team rolls into town and sees one of the Tupelo teachers on the sideline being able to have an impact on the game like that, that could raise questions, and it's just a matter of impartiality.
Goals are something that can be different for every referee.
We want to make sure that we impact the game positively, and matter of fact, that you don't notice us out there.
There is no doubt that Mr. Brett Keller and Mr. Raleigh Darcy enjoy what they do and hope to have a positive impact on the players. I'm Albanie Knight, WTHS News.
Thanks, Albany. That's all for this week. Be sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of WTHS News.